You're Perp. Welcome back to another episode of Horror Never Dies or the Horror Never Dies podcast. This is episode two, horror for newcomers. Last week's episode, the premiere was really dope. I had a blast talking to everybody, you know what I'm saying? And we're back once again for another episode. This is let me let my guest in real quick before I get it. Whatever shot.
Yo, what's the deal? Pickles is everything kosher?
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, welcome everybody that's checking this out live or checking out the replay. I appreciate it. The first episode did really well. Let's just keep it going, keep the momentum going. Definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and also share this out. Do all of the three, or you know what I'm saying, pick one, however you want to go about it will help me kind of gather my data that I need to just pretty much see where I want to go with this show, and that's all really dependent on you. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you hit that like button. But what's up, Rashad?
Hey, can't call it, man. Same shit, different toilet. Just got in from work not too long ago, so ready to chop it up, talk some horror.
Yeah. It was your birthday recently, right?
Yeah, I had a birthday. Last Sunday. Yep,
Your
turned
30
44.
oh, I thought it was your 39th. I was gonna give you
49th.
39th, yeah.
You said 49th?
39th.
Oh, 39. Oh, I was about to say, man, don't be trying to put no years on me.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
that's what's up though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a blessing though, man, because a lot of people don't get to make it that long. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
nah, trust
always.
me, I'm blessed, brother. You know what I'm saying? And nothing extravagant or crazy. I had my kids with me, ordered some pizza from my favorite pizza place, watched a movie, chilled
That's how you
out,
gotta
you know
do
what
it.
I'm saying? Yeah. It was a good birthday though, man. I really felt the love.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. What up, Tony?
It's
All right, let me
good,
break this
fam.
down real quick. Get started. Yeah, so it's September, and it's spooky season. We're almost at like in October. We're like a month away, which it just this whole year just seems like a blur. I don't know what it is. I really think the pandemic like really messed with time or altered time. Cause yeah, years used to go by fast, but like it's just like man, we're already almost done 2023, and we about to be at 2024 by the time you know. But yeah, so with that being said, I kind of want to also give a little update of like any movies that I've watched recently. I recently watched two new horror movies. One called All Fun and Games, and this R.L. Stein movie called Zombie Town. I saw that last night in theaters.
Mm.
Um, I think I got a little echo. Hold on. No, it's not there. All right. But yeah, I saw All Fun and Games that had like Asa Butterfield in it. I don't know if you saw the trailers for that, Rashad.
Nah, I didn't.
So pretty much what it is, right? It's kind of like a stereotypical. Oh, they find like this blade and or this knife or whatnot. It's obviously cursed, and it's got wording on it. So it kind of works like a Necronomicon. You know how you shouldn't read from the Necronomicon because then that's how shit gets activated. It's pretty much the same thing here. But the
Okay.
interesting thing about it is, and what kind of drew me to the movie is the fact that when you read this thing off, you not only get possessed, but you also have to play these like child games, like Hangman or Tag or Hide and Go Seek. Or my favorite part of it was like Flashlight Tag, but I was kind of disappointed by it because it just they didn't really utilize like the games that I thought they were going to utilize it like.
Mm.
But Asa Butterfield was kind of cool. It was kind of goofy seeing him play like this killer and stuff, and then the Zombie Town one that has R.L. Stein's name attached to it, and it has Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. I was like, oh,
Chevy
that's enough to sell.
Chase.
Yeah, that's enough that's enough to sell me on it. I was like, it was interesting. It's a R.L. Stein. You know, it's mainly for kids. I think it's a good like family horror movie to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's not too scary, but the premise is cool. You know, you got this town where everybody's obsessed with horror movies, and the main character hates horror movies and hates this guy's horror movies and stuff like that, and tries to impress this one girl by showing off this movie that he got early that wasn't supposed to be shown, but once it gets like played, it turns all the townspeople into zombies and stuff like that. And it's pretty wacky and it's somewhat funny, but you know, those are the two horror movies I watched. I got my tickets for The Nun 2. I'm gonna see that in IMAX. I don't know if you're gonna see that.
Nah, I didn't even see the first one, bro. I just had no interest in never had no interest in watching The Nun.
Yeah, that's fair, you know, but it's interesting because I'm seeing reviews and people saying it's actually pretty damn good. So it's sort of
Okay.
like, you know, the Annabelle creations where Annabelle was trash, but the second one was much better. So
Mm,
that's which is so weird. It's just like, man, why not just try to make a good movie every time? But I digress.
right.
But anyways, this is the theme of this episode will be horror for newcomers because it's so interesting because I'm so into horror. Hold on, I think you got an echo coming in on your end.
Just a little echo. It's not that bad though. It's not annoying.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So yeah, horror for newcomers. So I always found it interesting, like you know, how do you get a person that's never watched horror movies or somebody that's not much of a fan, but how can you convert them? You know, what movies do you show them? Do you show them like? Because me, I always go for the extreme. I'm gonna show you Terrifier off rip. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And sometimes people might actually like that, or they'll get enjoyment, or just be completely turned off by that. And
Uh,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, well, my philosophy is, crawl before you walk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if somebody that's never watched horror and you show them something like Terrifier 2, that might be too much to digest at one time. You know what I'm saying? You got to start them out with baby formula. So personally, I would start them out with something light, like probably Ghostbusters or like Monster Squad. Something that's horror but light horror, and then once they handle that, like, okay, so what you think about that? Okay, cool. And then if you see that they cool with it, okay, maybe I can show them Friday the 13th now, or I think it's levels to horror, man.
Yeah,
That's my thing. Yeah.
for sure. You know, because it's like, yeah, like I think a good beginner would be kind of slashers. Maybe start them off with like Halloween, just to kind of give
Mm,
them the gist of it. You know, I wouldn't go too far back like the monster movies because I think that's an acquired taste in
right.
today's time. Like, and a lot of people are going to appreciate like the old Draculas, the old Frankenstein's. I have way more of appreciation for those movies now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Psycho is another one where it's just like that's mostly thriller, or even like The Shining, which depending on how you like, because The Shining to me is a very slow burn, so and it's a long movie, so attention span is another thing too, which why I say like I think something like Nightmare on Elm Street or um, one of the slashers are easy to kind of get into
Mm-hmm.
more so than something like The Shining or Terrifier. You know what I'm saying? And some people just don't like possession movies, so that's understandable, especially if they're religious. But it's funny, like you'll get those people that don't like possession movies, but yet they'll watch a slasher. You'll watch somebody get killed like several times over. It's just so bizarre to me. Like to me, like
Yeah.
if you're gonna be a horror fan, you gotta dive into everything. You know what I'm saying? And you can't.
Well, if I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, now I was well. Just to speak on that real quick. So I come from a religious background. So I grew up. My grandmother's, Baptist church. Other side of my family, Pentecostal church. So a lot of my upbringing was in the church, Pentecostal and Baptist. And I could tell you, I don't know if you've been to church, Pert, but I've seen some wild stuff in the church. Like I've seen people, whether it was, I mean, because I know you can make the argument, well, maybe that was staged or they probably faked that shit. But I've
And when they
seen,
when the pastor touches somebody, like, oh, I heal you, like, be gone, demon, like that. That shit's
yeah,
actually kind of funny. Seeing like clips of that, I was like, bro, that like one of those mega churches and shit. But
yeah,
yeah, I've definitely seen that. Like like my mom's more of the religious type. She's more of like
mhm,
the Christian. Like so on that side, like when I was younger, I definitely used to go to church a lot more and stuff, and
right.
definitely used to see that. But continue.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've seen people, I guess, so called possessed, or like they have what they call spirits in them, and they have to get a demon out of them. And I see the pastor like lay hands and throw the holy water and everything. So a lot of that stuff kind of hits the home. So when you watch a movie like The Exorcist or a possession movie, you're like, holy
Mhm.
shit, like that could happen. Because I think something that you feel can really happen will scare you, as opposed to like like with a slasher, that's not something that you see every day. That's not something that's not normal. Like, okay, that
Mhm.
a guy with a mask on running around killing people, you're not gonna see that. But somebody getting possessed and like with the demon or whatever, like that could actually happen. So those movies kind of hit home to me. So growing up the way I did, to this day, I still don't really fuck with possession movies. Like I'll watch The Exorcist or Evil Dead, stuff like that. But all this exorcism of this and exorcism of that, I just don't fuck with them. Yeah, I don't. Even the Conjuring movies, bro. I just really don't fuck with those movies, man, because they just
This
kind
is
of hit
based off
too.
of real shit. It's based off of real
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It just kind of hits a little too close to home because, like, I've seen this shit up close, and it's
Mhm.
scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
Yeah,
is understandable, but like that's what I love about horror in general. It's just like they take you out of your comfort zone where like wherever you think you might be safe, whether it be your house, your car, or just like at a party, or like you could be anywhere, just walking down the street and you get snatched up by somebody. It's
right.
it's it's fascinating. But Nerd Man here asks, what's the best horror movie of all time, and what's the greatest slasher? Mine's is The Thing and
Good
April
choice.
Fools.
The
My
thing was
favorite,
great.
my favorite, and I think is my personal favorite, or probably the best, is The Shining.
Hmm.
And greatest slasher, um, it's gotta be Freddy or Jason for me. I lean more a little bit towards Jason just because I don't know, it's something like I appreciate Jason a little bit more than Freddy, but I'm not going to take away from either or. I will say even as a newcomer into it, like Art, just because of his kills, I think that's another factor into it. Not just like obviously Freddy and them have more time to become iconic, like what I'm saying, but I think what makes a slasher iconic as well is their kills. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Facts.
can't be an
Facts.
iconic slasher with trash kills. It's just that doesn't. Yeah, that just no. But
Yeah, I think the kills, the look of the slasher, you know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
have to have a good look. Just what they're remembered for. Like, I mean, when I think of Freddy, first thing I think of is Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? One of
Dream
the great
Warriors.
lines of the horror movie. You know what I mean? You think of Jason, you think of that hockey mask and that machete. So, yeah, I agree with that, man. But yeah, you already know, Perp. Freddy's my dude. I fucks
Yeah,
with Freddy, and that first Elm Street is my personal favorite horror movie ever. But the thing was a good choice though. Yeah, I fuck with the thing as well. So that was a good pick by him.
yeah, for sure, sure. Because like I haven't seen the thing in a while. I remember watching the old '80s one and the remake,
Hmm.
and I had to revisit those. I want to definitely kind of tap into some of these other horror movies I haven't seen in a while or haven't seen at all. So
Right.
you know, but yeah, it's like but it's fascinating though. It's just like some people that just like what it would be that it's even harder to kind of. I don't think it's really as hard to get people into horror. It's just like you gotta kind of like really ease them into it, and it's just like you said, it's just levels to it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's levels to it. You don't gotta like, don't try to force people. Watch it on your own time. Definitely make sure you got the settings right though. If you watch it at nighttime, that's like the perfect time to watch a horror movie. Because I don't understand if you watch horror movies like during the day when it's bright out, and you know what I'm saying, it's all about the ambiance and stuff like that too. Um, I think some good horror movies for newcomers would be like even PG-13 movies. Even though like
Hmm.
I hate PG-13 horror movies, but there's a good amount to like if you're not into heavy gore or nothing like that, but you still want some type of jump scare or something like that in there. Like you can go that route. Like I see Tony Robinson. He mentioned Insidious, and I still haven't never finished the first Insidious. I always go try to watch it, then I always get distracted,
Nah,
and
that
then
first one. So okay, so I've never seen the Insidious movies prior to the third one that just came out, so I had to catch up. And that
mhm,
first one was surprisingly very good. And like you said, when I see PG-13 and horror, that's like dog, like it just doesn't mix like oil and water or whatever, or whatever doesn't mix. But that first one was like really surprisingly scary, and I'm not a big fan of the jump scare because I feel like that's a cheap way to
mhm.
get us scared. You know what I'm saying? That's just lazy to me. But the jump scares were very effective, and even when I think I know what's coming, it still surprised me. So that first one was off the chain. Two was decent. Three sucked. But yeah, nah. If you can, yeah, finish that first one, bro. I was
Yeah.
surprised how much I dug
Now,
that first one.
now there are rare occasions when they do make dope PG-13 movies. It's very rare. Like
Hmm.
Drag Me to Hell, I feel like is one of the best. Like that shit was just a fun ride. It's creepy, it's spooky. Sam Raimi's attached to it, so like you already know it's gonna be on point with the effects and whatnot.
Right.
What's another one? A Quiet Place. A Quiet
Quiet
Place is
place.
really
Yeah.
dope, and that's especially dope just watching that in theaters because of the sound design. You know how they utilize like sound. It's pretty much like a silent film in a lot
Hmm.
of cases too, with a little
Right.
bit of sound there. But it's kind of like a hybrid. It's very interesting how they have a whole movie that has no sound for the most part, and then like when it hits you, that that to me is more creative than like some of these jump scares. You know what I'm saying? Like last week, Anzo mentioned that like he misses like movies that have jump scares, but it's the way you utilize those jump scares. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just cheap, or just be like, oh, it's coming. Like the best jump scares are the ones that you don't see coming, or you know they kind of really set you up. Um,
Right.
like Talk to Me. That doesn't rely heavily on jump scares or nothing like that, but there's a lot of creepy ass shit that be like, oh shit, like I didn't expect that, or that shit freaked me out.
Yeah, well,
Um,
well, with Insidious, like, well, one of like the way they did the jump scare that really made it work was that it wasn't so much of something jumping at you that you hear the,
yeah,
it was more of two people sitting at a table eating, and it cuts to one person, right? Then it cuts to the other
yeah,
person, and then when it cuts back to the first person, you see the lipstick demon face right next to them. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
wait a minute.
yeah, yeah. There's some really good like what was Blair Witch rated? Was that rated R or PG-13?
The original, I don't remember. I do.
True, true.
I
Because like
remember I hated that movie though. I never understood the appeal of the Blair Witch Project. I feel like that's probably the most overrated horror movie ever made.
well,
When I watched it, bro, I just did not get it.
I think it has to be like one of those movies because everybody talks about how the marketing for that movie was genius, and that's
Yeah,
what like watching that in theaters, and this is before the internet, so people thought that movie was real. So but that set off a whole nother genre of films. With found footage, paranormal activity. I think that's another one. Even though I'm not a fan of those movies,
right.
um, it definitely has an audience, and it's not too, like I said, it's not too scary. It's not too, violent or anything like that. But I think it'll kind of get you eased in, and then you can get into the rated R stuff, get into the Child's Play. Even Child's Play, the first Child's Play, I think would be a good starter as well, because it's also got like those Child's Play movies also got humor in it. They're not just always like super serious and whatnot. So you
Facts,
could
facts.
definitely find some out of that. Killer Clowns for Outer Space, like another like horror comedy type of
Love that
vibe with
movie.
that.
I love that
Yeah,
movie.
that's just
Yeah.
hilarious. That's just hilarious. And there's some, and I would say, yeah, you could probably start with like those like find as many horror comedies that, like, Shaun of the Dead might be a good one. Something that you can also laugh and be creeped out by and stuff like that. So
Yeah. What you think about Monster Squad? I rewatched that the other day, and it still holds up because Stan Winston did the creature effects, and
mm,
they still hold up to this day. The practical effects,
yeah, I haven't seen
especially
that.
on
I
the
haven't seen that.
especially on the
I
creature from the Black Lagoon, man. The effects still
Oh
look pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. Like I haven't seen Monster Squad in a long time. I might have to put that on my list and stuff of just things to kind of run through. Um, but let me answer Tony's question really quick. He said, "To Perp, how would you feel about art popping up in a Freddy movie?" That would be interesting. I think those two would really get along. You know, because
Hmm.
Art is an interesting character because he's not like he's evil, but like if you kind of just ignore him, he'll probably just leave you the fuck alone
Right.
9 times out of 10. But if you don't give him candy, you know what I'm saying? Then we got a problem, bro. Like, if this man show up at your house, just give him his candy. Fuck if he's a grown demon or some shit. Like, just give him his candy. Let him go about your way. Don't try to sit on his lap and pull on his nose and shit like the dumb white bitch in the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And
And if he's trying to
especially
just, if he gets you one of those 50 cent, 25 cent rings, just accept it. If you're a woman, just accept it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, if you're a woman, you're going to get it the worst because he's quick with dudes. Like he'll just probably like just chop your head off or something like that and kick it down a hallway or something. But women, he violates completely. But
yeah, yeah, and he has a thing for mashed potatoes too. Like Q said last week, man. I'd never see mashed potatoes the same after watching that second one.
I never look at bleach and what is it, salt, bleach,
Bleach and
salt and bleach.
salt, man. That scene reminded me, like, that took me back, bro. I got PTSD because that reminds me of the old ass whoopings I used to get when I was a kid.
Oh
And
man.
I don't know if your mom was like this, but my mom would tear my ass up. And then just when I think the ass whooping's done, right, she'll think about it and then come back and say, you know what, I ain't satisfied. And then give me round two.
Yeah, my mom would just find anything to hit me with, but she don't do that no more because I'm older. She older now, so you know. But she'll still slap me. I'm like, damn, ma, like, like that shit hurt. Like,
Well,
but
my mom plays it off like it never happened. So if I bring her, I say, Mom, remember that time you beat my ass? Oh, boy, I ain't never beat you. Wow. Amnesia.
salute to Jason Entertainment. Hey, Perp and Rashad G, how you guys doing?
It's
What are some
good.
of your most anticipated horror movies of the year? For me, it has to be The Exorcist Believer. I'll start off by like saying I was looking for Maxine, but it seems like I don't know if they were finished shooting because I know they were in the middle of shooting, and it
Right.
seems like that's not gonna come out until like next year, which is I'm okay with. I just need that movie. I just need that movie. But for the rest of the year, The Exorcist Believer, I'm kind of like I'm on the fence with because I know it's not going to be better than the original.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm optimistic, and I'm gonna go in there with just mild expectations. But for the rest of the year, let me like think about this.
Well, what else is supposed to drop? I know we have a Saw movie coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm not really, like to me when I look at Saw and I compare it to something like Terrifier, I'm like, yeah, Saw is like a Saturday morning cartoon compared to Terrifier.
Facts.
Um, The Nun 2, I don't know. The more I see that trailer, even though it's just like, oh, they're just cheap jump scares, and I'm hopeful for that. I think it probably won't be anything in theaters, but maybe something on streaming that goes on to Shutter or something like that. But like Maxine was like the last one really.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and usually they always have something kind of popping up out of nowhere. So I had to kind of get back to you on that one. Um, yeah, see,
Yeah,
yeah,
for me,
Maxine.
yeah, for Exorcist, yo, because think about it, bro. The first Exorcist came out in '73, and they've been trying ever since. Like, so for 50 years, they've been trying to measure up to that, and everyone has failed from two to. Well, I heard Exorcist 3 actually wasn't bad. I keep hearing that the
Yeah,
third Exorcist movie was actually pretty
and
decent.
it
I haven't
has one
seen
of
it
the
yet.
best jump scares of all time, or something like that.
I heard.
With
I've never
the
seen it, but yeah, I did that one. Okay, I mean, I check it out just to review it, but I'm not really looking forward to it. Then that sloth movie, I still got to see. I
I
actually,
really want to see that. I didn't want to pay $16 for it,
yeah,
but I'll probably wait till like it hits VOD, so then it was like it'll pop up
right.
somewhere else. Wink, wink. So
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this has been almost like I guess the year of the return of the animal killers. You know, we
yeah.
had Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Shark, and now we got the Killer Sloth.
hmm And it's
Yeah.
interesting that you mentioned the Exorcist and the possession movies, and like watching Talk to Me, I was like, bro, Talk to Me did something very different with a possession that was just felt refreshing. I don't know necessarily if the Exorcist believer could like, you know,
Mhm.
own up to that, because I could see it kind of playing out as somewhat generic, and hopefully it's just trailer trickery and it's like there's a lot more to it,
Right.
and there's a wider kind of story that they're trying to tell, where maybe just what happens in this, it's gonna end dark, and then like we'll get Reagan in the next one or something like that, or you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. And they just moved it up because of Taylor Swift and stuff. God, bro. I don't
Taylor.
understand why they had to put that in theaters, but whatever.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, that motherfucker broke the damn because I got the AMC app on my phone and I was trying to
Yeah,
get
it broke
tickets
that shit.
for Equalizer 3, and the app kept messing up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I looked, they said,
Yeah,
oh, Taylor Swift. Okay, that's why.
yeah. Everything was shut down. Like, yo, your war shit is not active right now. Like they fucked that shit, fucked up the whole system. I was like, all right, I'll just wait
Right.
a day to get my nun tickets and stuff like that. Um, Friday Nights at Freddy. I never played the games,
Mm-hmm.
but just the fact that this is supposedly 3 hours long, I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this now. Like, even though it's gonna be on Peacock, similar to Exorcist Believer. Like that's also I think gonna be on Peacock as well.
Right.
Which is like I don't know why they're still doing that, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not. To me, I think Talk to Me was probably the best horror movie I've seen this year so far. The one that really surprised me the most because I really didn't have much expectations going in to Talk to Me, and when I walked out, I said, "Holy shit, that was a pretty damn good horror movie." Like nothing that I'm gonna say that scared me. Like, oh my god, I was so scared, but it was refreshing. You know, it took something a real simple premise that we've seen, but somehow executed it to where it felt like it was fresh. And I say it's probably so far my favorite horror movie this year.
Damn, Jason give me a whole list. Hold on, let me. What up, Zach?
What
So,
up?
how do you rank the horror movies that came out so far? Megan, Talk to Me, Evil Dead Rises, Sick, Infinity Pool, The Blackening, Scream 6, Unseen, Clock, Knock at the Cabin, Boogeyman, and Voyage of the Demeanor. Now, off the top of my head, um, Megan's at the bottom.
Hmm.
Then I'll probably put Sick, and then The Blackening. I didn't watch Unseen or Clock. I'll probably put Boogeyman next, Infinity Pool, uh, Voyage of the Demeanor, Evil Dead, then Talk to Me.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'll miss Scream 6, but Scream 6 is in there somewhere. I'll probably put that. I'll probably put
Scream 6 is
Scream
all
6
right.
below Evil Dead. But
Scream 6.
we've had some really solid. You got to see Cobweb too. Cobweb, to me, Cobweb and
Mhm.
Talk to Me are the standouts for this year.
I agree. I agree. Cowboy was very good.
Yeah, that was very different.
Yeah.
There was what was it? Oh, there
Damn.
was
So
another
you
one.
you didn't like Megan at all?
I feel like they should have just they should have just made it rated R because it's just a cutaway from the kills and stuff that was just completely fucked it up for me. I hate like when you have a killer doll or whatever and you cut away from it.
Yeah. Well,
Which it's
didn't they release they released the uncut version, right? Didn't they put an uncut
yeah,
version
I didn't
on
even
Peacock?
because you had to like I guess you had to get that through Peacock and stuff. I was like, I'm not doing all that. You want me to do extra steps?
Right.
Just do it off the rip. But I understand it's a smart marketing and it did really well. And hopefully Megan too. Like I like Megan. Like Megan as a character is cool. It's just that PG-13 horror movie thing that they did do and just cut away from certain things is just
Right.
it turns me off from that shit. Like I just I was good off that.
That's one of the things I hated about Friday the 13th, the New Blood. That I like, dude. The MPAA was on some bullshit back then. Because if you watch that one,
Mm.
every Jason kill they cut away. I'm like, how is this not PG-13? Somewhere there's gotta be an uncut version of New Blood. And if
Mm.
anybody knows how to get access to it, let me know. 'Cause I want to see it.
Or somebody should just do a fan and they just add the blood in themselves and shit. Like that'd be dope.
Well, that's
Um.
kind of what Peter Anthony did with Roseblood. If you seen Roseblood, the
Oh,
fan film that he
interesting.
did, yeah. So Roseblood is in the same. It's based off the New Blood. You know what I'm saying? And man, some of the best Jason kills you ever seen.
True. True. So Jason, he brings up Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. This movie gets a lot of hate. I actually thought it was pretty interesting. Like they take this, it starts off like a storybook and stuff like that, and then we get into the actual things where Christopher Robin he like pretty much like abandoned them, almost like some Toy Story shit. Like you just grew up, you grew out of that, and like he went off to kind of have his own life while these hybrids were walking around like they relied on him coming back and now they had to kind of fend for themselves. One of their friends died and you know once Christopher Robin tried to come back he's like we're gonna get revenge now. It's just like that was a cool little concept. It was I didn't take it too serious. But I understand why some people was like, oh, this is trash, or what I'm saying, but I like the premise overall for it.
Well,
It was
I haven't seen it, but from what I heard, some people said that like what they didn't like about it was they didn't really go for it. Like to take a premise that silly and that crazy, and they just didn't. They just they said it was too reserved. You know what I mean? They
I could
played it
see that, and
too
maybe
safe.
like because I thought that some of the kills were pretty decent for the most part, but I could definitely understand that gripe, and I'm hearing they want to make a sequel to it, and they're still doing the Peter Pan stuff, and they're going to do the Bambi, which Bambi is going to be fucking hilarious.
Oh
Like,
wow, a Bambi horror movie? Seriously?
yeah, yeah. So they're trying to do all these because I think they're all starting to become into was it public domain.
Mm.
So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I gotta really think about that though. What's left of this year? Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily going to be something in theaters. I could be wrong because like some movies just kind of pop up. Like tomorrow, I'm going to see this movie, Don't Look Away. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I
It's
heard
based off
about
of
that.
off
Yeah.
of a short film. It's like this creepy ass mannequin, and like the trailer was dope. It kind of sold me. It kind of just gave me that like '80s vibe. It's a nice like B horror movie and stuff like that. So that's going to be playing in theaters tomorrow. I'll have a review for that later
Well,
that night and stuff.
I was looking for that on AMC app, and that like I see it on there, but they don't have any show times for it, so I guess it's not playing in my at my AMC.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I guess is a benefit to, and this is going to be kind of leaning in towards like episode three, where episode three for the next episode for next week will be the state of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of touched on that. you start seeing a lot more smaller films being put into theaters, which is really dope. And maybe that's just, AMC and the movie shot to just get whatever movies that they can, and so they can grab as many people in seats, or even if it's one or two, three people, it's still they're just kind of getting business outside of like the bigger movies. We're just seeing a lot more indie movies being put in the theaters, which is really dope.
Right, right. Well, that's what's surprising because yeah, because the AMC that I go to, they get a lot of the smaller ones that wouldn't be shown, like I guess at the big big theaters or whatever. But yeah, for some reason with some of these horror movies, even Cobweb, I was trying to go see Cobweb at my local AMC, and every time I would go, they would say, "Sorry, no showtimes have been announced yet." I what you mean? No showtimes been announced yet? The shit drops this week. What you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, but hey,
because it
it
has
is
that
what it
limited
is.
release. Sometimes you gotta go see it in theaters, because then they'll put it in like Cobweb. I think Cobweb hit like digital within 3 weeks after it released, or some shit like
Right,
that.
right.
What might be a benefit to you, but it's still good to kind of support those on a bigger screen and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was another one? Uh, Terrifier 2, like that should never even been in theaters, because that shit is,
It did play in mine. Yeah, it did play. I was able to see that in the theater.
yeah, it had a
Yeah.
pretty decent release. I think it was like 1,000 theaters and stuff. And this
Mm-hmm.
shit's it's unrated, uncut, and you know what I'm saying. Usually, you couldn't put those movies out, but like I think that kind of helped, or is going to help other smaller films, smaller horror movies kind of get that push, or that theatrical. You know, they had the Mean one, which the Mean one still hasn't come out on digital. I don't know what's taking so fucking long with that. I still want to see that Grinch horror movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I seen this one that you're talking about, Zach. I see this one. It's pretty solid. I don't really remember it though.
What the hell? Who? Huh? Hasira Bone Woman. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a possession movie.
Oh
It's on
shit.
Shutter. I think it's on Shutter or something like that. But
Yeah.
Skinamarink, I really, I like that. That's a unique taste. I like there was two movies like this, right? There's Skinamarink, and then there's Outer Waters. I kind of like preferred Outer Waters. It was like these new experimental atmospheric type of horror movies. It's not going to be for everybody. Like Skinamarink definitely wasn't for me. It was weird, but the most of the time you're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And I give them credit for doing something completely different, and it being successful. It's able to get an audience and stuff, but it just wasn't for me. I kind of preferred Outer Waters, because those are kind of similar
Mm-hmm.
in some senses, but you know, and it's interesting that you always get kind of like these new experimental takes on horror movies and stuff like that, which sometimes it's not gonna it's not gonna go over well with everybody. Some people might really actually like it, and it might start something new. Like I said, Terrifier 2, that's kind of started a whole new genre of like a mega slasher and stuff like that. So
Right.
I would like to see more of those types of movies. Like they're just like overly gory. Nothing too crazy, like nothing like a Serbian film. We don't need movies like that. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, no.
Anybody ever
Well,
tries to,
we'll just show the violence, man. Like with these studio horror movies, like that, they're so afraid of. I mean, then I guess the MPA has a lot to do with that too. The MPAA, I guess they have the final say in what you put out, so they have to like
yeah,
tone it down. But that's why, like with Terrifier being that's independent, like they can do whatever they want to do. Even when Evil Dead 2 came out, Evil Dead 2, Sam Raimi somehow pulled it off where he got it past the MPAA, but it didn't. Well, it didn't have a rating, so it was still got a big release in the theater, and it took off, man. So I guess moral of the
hmm
story is try to get your shit independent made. Um, don't worry about the rating, and then put it out there. And most likely, your horror fans will gravitate to it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And going back to like the topic of just horror for newcomers, another one would be Trick or Treat. I think that's another perfect movie to kind of just
Yeah,
everybody that I've shown that movie to, they really love it or they really like it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
has
that
everything you would
anthology
kind of
horror.
want. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has everything you would kind of want in one type of film. And I'm still waiting for number two. And you know how like A Christmas Story always does like a marathon. Now I'm not saying like Trick or Treat should do a marathon, even though they did do a marathon back when I don't it wasn't Shutter. It was a TV station or something like that that was playing. I forget what the fuck it was. I think it was like Fear TV or something shit or whatever. They
Mhm.
used to show Trick or Treat like every year, like a marathon. They're just like similar to how A Christmas Story would be shown
Right.
every year, like a marathon. What they should do is just bring out Trick or Treat like every year for just Halloween, like a Halloween run. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I would go see that every year. Every
Yeah,
year.
no, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Yeah, that's probably one of the best horror anthology movies.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the sloth movie. I was like, I gotta see that shit because I was like, I always like before like when Cocaine Bear came out, and then you started seeing a bunch of other movies trying to copy that, making
Mhm.
other kind of horror movies based on creatures. I was like, yo, a horror movie about a sloth would be just fucking hilarious, and I got my wish. So I have to watch this. I have to watch it. I might just pay
Yeah,
for it. I don't know.
dog. I'm interested to see what they do with that because you're taking the slowest animal in the world and making it a killer. How is that even possible?
Yeah, I forget exactly the tagline that they had. Like it was funny though. I forget the tagline that they had on the poster. But yeah,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. It's just like it only works in horror, man. You could only do like weird, creative, uncanny
Mhm.
stuff in horror. Like it wouldn't work in nothing else. Like making a comedy about a sloth. Like I don't think people would be too interested in that. Like they tried to do the shit with Strays. Like Strays is good. Like I just watched your review about it. I was like, bro, this shit. I had to say pause too many times during this whole shit. But if you turn Strays into like a horror movie, that shit would be dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a bunch of
Definitely.
just evil dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like taking like Cujo on steroids or some shit. Like.
Well, there was actually a movie back in the day. It came out in 1976 called Dogs, and it was just about a bunch of random killer dogs of all different breeds, just killing people.
Yeah, so I think Zach is talking about the sloth movie. He's drugging girls and shit. Like, what the? That's hilarious, bro.
Oh
Like,
wow,
you gotta see that now, bro. I gotta see that
yeah,
shit,
definitely.
bro. But go ahead. What were you saying?
To me, oh, what was I saying? Yeah, perfect. So you can't be doing like, see, I'm older now, right? Okay, I just turned 44 last week, so when I'm on a roll talking about something, man, you can't interrupt because I'm gonna lose my train of thought.
Yeah, my fault, my fault. But
God, no, that's
but if it
old
comes
man
back,
brain kicking in. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like for yeah, just like if you, I always gonna recommend people just getting into horror because it's just this is like the best time too because there's so many different new shit coming up. But also, if you've never watched none of the like older stuff, like there's so much to pick from over like the 100+ years that horror's been out, and
Right.
you can always find something that's going to be um suited for you, or you might end up embracing anything, or like I said, watching Nightmare on Elm Street, you start to fall in love with this genre and go out of the bigger movies and kind of go for like the lower, the less known slasher movies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like every time I go on Shutter, I just like they'll have like the TV tab and they'll always have something random playing. I was watching Final Exam. I was like, bro, you could never make this movie today because
Right.
it's like a school shooting that happens in the beginning of the fucking movie and some shit. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you could never do no shit like this. But
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my daughter, my daughter, she's 18 now, but when I introduced her to horror, I kind of got her into it, kind of like how I got into it. I showed her Thriller first, Michael Jackson
Mhm.
Thriller, and she did pretty good with it. And then I almost took your approach and said, okay, well, she can handle Thriller, she can handle A Nightmare on Elm Street, and she was 4 at the time. And I showed her. We watched like the first 15 minutes of Elm Street up until Tina's death, and then I had to turn it off because it was way too intense for her. She's like, "Daddy, no!"
Mm.
So I had to turn it off. So after that, I said, "Okay, let me dial it back and give her something more light." So I showed her the Lost Boys, and I think that's another good introduction horror movie to show a new horror fan, because Lost Boys is my favorite vampire movie, but not necessarily a scary movie. It's not really hardcore. It's light. You know what I'm saying? It's something light and fun. And I think if you're trying to introduce somebody into horror, that's a good one to start with as well, because she
Mm.
watched Lost Boys and she dug it. And then after that, I was able to show her Fright Night, and then we transitioned to Carrie, and then Pet Cemetery and all that stuff. So yeah, that's so. Like I said, you got to crawl before you walk. You know, show them the
Yeah.
light stuff first. Like, so I couldn't just jump into Hellraiser with the hooks ripping people's flesh off and shit. You know what I'm saying? I had
But
to
see,
start out with some pretty vampires on bikes. You know what I mean?
like you worse than me. See, at least I was thinking Goosebumps. I was like, all right, this is Y7. This is rated Y7. So this like
Yeah.
kids should be all right with this. But like
Mm-hmm.
Slappy probably should have went with something else that was a little bit more goofier. But like Slappy is because like when you watch it, I was like, yo, Slappy's fucking hilarious. Like, but he's
Yeah.
creepy. Um,
Yeah, and now my daughter watches everything. So because we saw
that's dope.
Terrifier 2 last year, you know, both of us. So now, but what's funny is my son, he's 7 now, right? So now I'm trying to kind of ease him into horror, and my
Convert him.
daughter's yeah, and my daughter's like, no, like she's like, Mom, he must be stopped. No, I'm not gonna let him do to my brother what he did to me. I'm like, I must be stopped. Like I'm some kind of diabolical villain or something. Damn.
We try to be a horror family. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope though. That like your daughter can get into it and stuff like that, and she really likes it. And that's what I said. Like, there's so many aspects to just really enjoy about horror that like
Right.
no other genre does it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I mean, and she'll watch some stuff that I won't watch. Like I refuse to watch the Human Centipede, and she actually, I think she watched
goodness.
both of them. I think it's 3 of them, and I'm like, no, there's some things I will not. I'm not going to watch a movie about people shitting in other people's mouths. I'm not doing that. That's not horror. That's just gross. No.
Tony says we need a Mary Beth. You mean Carly Beth haunted mask movie? Yeah, I already had ideas. Like I've been writing certain things, like my ideas of that. I don't know if you've ever watched a haunted mask.
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah, I would highly recommend like when we get our stream, just go on Netflix, go on like, what I'm saying. I don't know what season it is, but just look for the episode. It's probably like 4 or 5. It's like the first episodes or whatever.
Okay,
But look
okay.
for the Haunted Mask and watch that because that shit like really holds up. And there's so many different ideas I would like to just do. Like, and Fear Street definitely was like because I like Fear Street because it's like a more adult version of like Goosebumps, and like
Mm-hmm.
they really went hard with that. Where this one, there's some ideas that I could twist around that I was like, man, I would love to turn this into a rated R type of movie or like a psychological kind of slasher type of kind of vibe with a
Mm.
haunted mask. Because like the more she puts the mask on, the more it gets attached to her and stuff like that. It's fucking
Oh
really
wow.
dope. I really recommend checking it out. It's really dope, and the music and stuff and Goosebumps. Like I was like just scrolling through TikTok and like every time Goosebumps pops up, they'll have the theme playing. Like that's one of the hardest theme songs ever, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's because it feels modern. It doesn't feel dated. It's just slaps. It's creepy and it's just up to date. But yeah, definitely would love to just make a haunted mask movie one of these days. We'll see though.
Nice. Oh, I forgot Chucky's supposed to be coming back also, right? The new season of Chucky.
Yeah, yes. I didn't watch the trailer. I'm just gonna go into the series, like you know what I'm saying. But because season 2 went really crazy, but I respect it because it's like they're just going for it now. They're going for the gusto. They're shooting for the wind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really take it that serious, which is okay because it's like it's Chucky. You know what I'm saying? He's super
Right.
OP now. You know, he's kind of given up on his dream of taking over Andy's body. He's traumatized Andy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Where he's almost like Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi now and shit like.
Damn, that they didn't last Jedi him, man. Oh shit.
Yeah, but like Andy's pretty dope, and seeing all the old characters come back, they definitely need. What's his name? Kyle, black dude. Yeah, they gotta bring back Kyle. That's like the last one they had to bring back. Oh
Okay.
no, Tyler,
Tyler.
right?
Oh, is that the boy from the third movie?
Yeah. You gotta bring
Okay.
back Tyler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, I actually liked the 2019 because it's like it's similar to Megan, but
Hmm.
like I like the fact that it's rated R and where they could have gone with that potentially of this being this AI robot and him just learning, and you can see him advance through each different movie and stuff. But it's a shame that they're not going to continue that and having a more mature Andy at that time, even though he's still like a kid,
Yeah.
but he's not like whiny and you know what I'm saying.
Well, there were things about that 2019 Child's Play that I did enjoy, but if it would have been named anything else besides Child's Play and not make it Chucky, I think it would have worked. I mean, of course, we can't help but say, well, that reminds me of Chucky, but the fact that like Chucky has his thing, Chucky's a brand, you know what I'm saying? And when you take that brand and repackage it, like kind of like how they did with He-Man back in the day, where
Hmm.
they had He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, and they try to bring him back as a futuristic sci-fi type character with a ponytail. I'm like, bro,
Right.
that's not He-Man, you know.
Mhm.
That's what I feel they did with Chucky.
Originally,
But the movie did have some good things going for, but I'm like, that's not Chucky. No.
I think the original Child's Play was gonna be called Buddy, I think, or if that was they should have probably gone with that, just call it Buddy. But I think
Right.
they just used the Child's Play just to kind of get those clicks and whatnot. But I agree, yeah, like it was kind of for the hardcore Child's Play fans, it
Mm-hmm.
probably didn't work for them. Just the whole AI aspect. I thought that was just kind of a unique kind of take. It's a bold take at one, but
Right.
like but it's more kind of realistic than like the voodoo aspect of it. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure. And even the relationship between Andy and Chucky in that movie, I thought really worked for me. And then so when it fell apart and Chucky started kind of going off the rails, it was kind of
Mhm.
heartbreaking because you did enjoy their relationship, but like I said, yeah, it's just not Chucky, man. Look, I'm used to the like you said the voodoo, that he beat it out, whatever he says, give me the power, I beg of you, I'm
Yeah,
used to
but
that, man, and I couldn't do it.
yeah, the wise quacking and like you know what I'm saying his
Right.
laugh and stuff. But like I said, they could have done something really creative. Like as it goes along, he'd be stopped. He like mature more, like almost on some Ultron shit, where it's just the more he gets
Hmm.
around, he can kind of like jump to different like AI bodies and stuff and get
Right.
smarter. And just like that, like where they had different kind of buddy dolls and like you could have changed his appearance in different movies and stuff like that. But I guess it is what it is. But maybe they will eventually reboot Child's Play again after the TV series, and you know what I'm saying, or maybe they could probably bring back Chucky on the big screen in
Yeah.
some
Well,
way,
I
like
mean, but
Evil Dead 2 it.
yeah. Well, the thing with legacy characters and like old school characters, like you have to stick to the formula, man. You have to keep it where like say keep the things that people loved about those properties and those
Mhm.
characters. Don't try to be too different. That's why Creed worked. That's why Cobra Kai works because they understood what made those movies special, what made those characters special, and go with that. And that's where Elm Street 2010 failed because you try to take Freddy and make him. I don't know what the fuck they try to do with Freddy in 2010. It
You
was so
mentioned like
cheesy.
there's such thing as keeping too close to the source material where you just pretty much copied and paste the original. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do
Yeah.
nothing new really. And the Freddy just wasn't that compelling. Which I think if they do it again this time, like I seen somebody talking about like the dude, the Han from Fast and the Furious. He said he want to play Freddy, which that would be kind of interesting. Like,
Oh, okay.
get a, say get a whole different type of. It doesn't have to be a white dude. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I want. Speaking of which, I want to see. I want to see the Dylan's New Nightmare. I don't know where to watch that at. Like
You said New Nightmare?
the Dylan's New Nightmare, the Dave McRae's fan film.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
where
know
he's
what you're
playing,
talking
where
about.
he's playing Freddy. He looks really dope. I was like, man, I want to check this out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
but
I think that we're going long enough. I'm gonna go drag this out any longer. Definitely got some other shit to do. I won't hold you up. I know you just got off of work, so I got off of work as well, and I just want to sleep in. You know what I'm saying? And then I go to the movies later. But what you got coming down the pipeline there as far as for like reviews or anything?
yeah, well, I'm still working on my Sam LaRusso ain't shit videos. I want to make sure I do it right before I put it out there because I'm really passionate
I,
about that. I really can't stand that chick. And let's see. Other than that, yeah, because nothing really. I dropped my Equalizer 3 review yesterday, and that was
mm,
such a snooze. Like perp,
same. I was dozing off in that shit too.
bro. But it started out so promising. Like it started out good. I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start here. And next thing you know, I started getting sleepy, and I'm like, okay, is it the McDouble that I had? But perp, it was so bad where I was making noises that I did not know I was capable of making.
Yeah, and I saw an early showing too. Like I was like at a 3-4 o'clock show, so I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was up. But then this shit just put me to fucking sleep. I was like, damn,
I
bro.
was
Like,
I was done, man. But I was surprised. Like some people really dug it. Like my boy, our boy Blacktastic. He really dug it, and
mm.
he made the movie sound very good. But when I walked out, like perp, I was so embarrassed. I walked out with my head down. 'Cause I know those motherfuckers heard me.
Yeah.
I know they heard me snoring. But yeah, but but anyways, yeah. So I dropped my Equalizer 3 review yesterday. I'm still working on my Sam Ain't Shit video. And I want to try to film this week. Me and my son reacting to the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I haven't seen Mutant Mayhem yet because I want us to lead up to that. So we're gonna watch every single Ninja Turtles movie leading up to Mutant Mayhem,
That's
and we're
dope.
gonna react to that
I,
together. Me and my 7-year
I
old.
seen that shit. I seen that joint 4 times in theaters already. So
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean,
and I'm
and
not even like a huge turtle fan like that, but like I love that movie, yo.
well, that's the reason why I'm doing this because I love the Turtles. I grew up on the Turtles, so when I brought it up to my son, usually he'll get excited, like, "Wow, I can't wait to see that!" Like he was excited about seeing Transformers. He was excited about Spider Verse. When I brought up the Ninja Turtles, I was like, "Yeah, son, we're gonna go see Mutant Mayhem." He says, "All right." I'm like, "You're not excited?" He's like, "I guess, you know." So I said, "You know what? He don't know the history, so that's why we're gonna go
Yeah.
back and watch all of them, and hopefully by the
Mm-hmm.
time we get to Mutant Mayhem, he'll be like, okay, now I'm ready to watch this. So that's the whole reason
Word.
why I wanted to do that.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. Yep. Yep. So I appreciate you pulling up. But what I got going is I got the Nun 2's coming. Was it next weekend? I got a horror movie that I'm watching tomorrow. It's called Don't Look Away. Y'all could just type that up in the YouTubes and check out the trailer for yourself. Um, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this. The Outlaw Johnny Black. It's got your
What?
boy from
Like
it's got your
Dynamite?
boy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I got my tickets for that, so that's down for another like 2 weeks. But like, I'm just paying attention to AFC. Like, I just be going back to see like, oh, what early screenings are they coming out with? But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff coming. I have my One Piece season 1 Netflix review out. Fire ship. Definitely gonna have more One Piece content coming in the
Right.
future. Next week we'll be back the same time, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, sir.
Uh, and you can go see all the different episodes. I just scheduled a bunch of them for the rest of this month, so you can kind of get the gist of what to expect for upcoming episodes. But like I said, I appreciate people putting up. Tony, Zach, Jason in the chat, and also Nerd Man. Hope to see y'all next in the next episode. But that's all I got for this episode. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.